Hey everyone, welcome to the Admit One podcast. Today we have a legendary Grammy award-winning producer, songwriter, singer, rapper, and record executive. He has produced hits for Jay-Z, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Missy Elliot, and Aaliyah, just to name a few. In the past couple of years, he's been hard at work creating the viral web series Verzuz, along with his alter ego Congo. Please welcome Timbaland and his partner for Has a Meaning, Zayd Portillo. Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for coming on.
What's up? What's up? G Money was popping.
How are you?
Thank you for having
Well,
me.
first off, thank you for coming on. And Zayd, I want to get into your bio real quick, but before we get into that, Timbaland, I just want to say I'm a huge fan. I remember when I first got my license and I started learning how to drive. I think that was around the time Clock Strikes came out, which for those who might not be familiar, that's the Knight Rider song. And that was like fire. Like I loved listening to that so much when I was like a teenager, and that and like Romeo Must Die was probably one of the few albums that like I listened to. I think like 5 or 6 songs on it, which at the time is like a huge number of songs on any one album to listen to from the way like records were made back then. But I'm a huge fan, so the fact that you're on the podcast, I'm really honored, and just know that I've been a huge fan for a long
Oh man, thank you,
time.
man. It's amazing to see how my music, affect memories in people.
Yeah.
I think that's because as the player, you don't really, and the person who's doing it, you don't really know. You're just doing it from a feeling. But it's funny to hear. It's so amazing to hear these stories of how it connects to memories to people. And
Yeah.
I always tell people that music is nothing but joy and memories. Great music. If it's great, you can remember the time when you first had your first or whatever. You can remember those times when you first heard it, your first kiss or whatever. That's great music. And to hear you say, when you was riding the car, the Night Rider, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I do that a lot with my friends as well, where like sometimes you hear a song and it just sparks a memory. And like when I think about like, especially from that era in my life, and like this was like, I was just learning how to drive, so I couldn't even drive. Like in New York State, you can't drive after dark when you have your permit. So I would literally like after school, just me and my friends would be listening to albums, like after school. And like yours was, you were always at the top of the list because at the time, like, dude, like just so much fire. Like you were involved in like all the best records at that time, and I loved it. So I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So and Zayd, I guess for those in the audience who aren't familiar with your work, could you give us a brief bio of what your background is and how you came into Web3?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Zayd. The running title is just, my whole MO for the last 2 years has just been aspirational. So aspiring Web3 talent. I've been the Robin to Timbaland's Batman for the last almost 2 years on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We stream together. We co-host this music television show where we critique people's music. The whole show is hosted in Unreal Engine. And so over the last 2 years, I've added Unreal Engine Architect to my belt. But really, it's been a means to an end to just kind of, capture Tim's creative vision. So realistically, I'm at a loss for words sometimes when it comes to titles and all that. I just really like doing really creative things.
Yeah, like we don't
Um,
really go by titles, we go by creation.
yeah, really, really, I'm the eye to Tim's ear. We could put it that way.
Right. Yeah, no, and I totally get with that too, because on my team, like sometimes people are like, oh, who's this person on your team? I'm like, I don't know. They're like very important to me, like they like the creative process happens on that back and forth, right? So it's like, especially like on smaller teams where you guys are working so closely together, it's the create like there's no titles, right? It's both of yours babies and creation. So I totally get with that. Totally understand that. Okay, so you guys started this show 2 years ago, and I assume that is before you got into NFTs and before you started being involved with Web3.
Yeah, I had some buddies that kept poking at me, and we're like, "Hey, man, you should really look at this space." And then when pandemic hit, is really when the show began. And so Tim and I were pretty much locked in the studio, 3 times a week, just trying to figure out how we can leverage the technology we had to just make something different. You know what I mean? The whole world looked differently at the time. And so, Tim is, taught me that, the most resourceful person is somebody with no resources or few resources. And it really, kind of inspired me to take, this one green screen we had and, just this MacBook. And we really tried to just trick it out to try and create something that would just be visually appealing and so on and so forth. And that just turned into, what you see today. And then just us having fun, just, building this thing. Tim had a whole nother vision. So I'm sure Tim will probably say something else on the back of that. But for me, it was just about
What you
grinding.
mean? No, I didn't have another vision. I was just like,
Okay, 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 okay.
it was me really just jumping in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person, let's go, let's do it. And then I can see once it's presented to me.
Yeah. So when did you first hear about NFTs, and what was your first thought? Timbaland is somebody that's been in the creative space for a long time, and I'm sure you have a lot of things to say about how creatives are treated in business sense. Like, what were your initial thoughts when you first came across the space?
When I first came across the space, I don't know if I had too much of a. I was more like trying to understand it and like, okay, like, see, look at your face, you're a JPEG. So I'm just like, when did this become so popular? When it's been since Atari 2600, I'm a gamer, so I go by game, and it just, to me, I look at it like it's funny how America write up something to say this is worth a value. You understand? Because if you look at the old Pac-Man from Atari 2600, that's no different from a crypto pump. If you put a head on it, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I started learning, and me and Zade always had conversations. I started looking at crypto punks and Zade like, yo, this is a space. I'm like, yeah. Then I just didn't. I was introduced um, through through my man Clement, and he called me one day with these guys and said, yo, they got these apes, and my man Drew, Clement introduced to this guy named Drew. Andrew Rosener was like heavy in the space, so he started giving me education about the space. He said, "Man, I brought all these monkeys, and all of a sudden I see them blowing up." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, monkeys. So the first time, I looked at the crypto punks, it didn't really resonate with my spirit and my soul. The apes really resonate because I love Planet of the Apes. So then that's when I started to learn more about the value in it, um, what it means, and then then I started to be like, okay, so if this is popular and this is worth something, why are we not making why and we own the IP? Why are we not making this more than what it is? So that was the question for a while, for like a whole year. Like, everybody keeps showing me their phone and their wallets. I said, but that's cool. And I love it. Like, I love some of the arts where my friend Jex has a Kobe Bryant that's going up in the air, but his shorts is fanned. So that stuff I love, right? But then it's like, when you look at your face and you got stuff like that, and you got all these other ones in your phone as a collector, okay, but then you can do more than just collect. You can really make a franchise with these people, with these things. You know what I'm saying? You can really be something that you can't be in the real world. You can kind of be what your personality doesn't like. For me, I say, for me, my personality is more like introvert, but like, I could be an extrovert sometimes, but I'm more like an introvert. So it's like the extrovert, I can put it out in an IP. You know what I'm saying? I can do things that I probably wouldn't do as Timberland. You know what I'm saying? But as these IPs that we have, I can be as creative as I want to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can do stuff that's unimaginable. And I can set my price rate, my target rate, how many people I want to reach. It's not about DSP. It's just retraining my mind from the music aspect to the web space aspect. So it's like I'm not all the way there, G Money. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day a learning process. Every day I'm trying new things. I'm just jumping out the boat first. And I'm showing people that I'm real. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming in at a bear market. I did one drop and it did very well. You know what I'm saying? I did, like, when it first came out, we did a group Ape production, and we still have Ape production. And we did a song with the Apes, and it was the first one. So we said, let's try this. And it sold out. You know what I'm saying? That was the beginning when it was high peak. You know, people were selling out all their stuff. I said, you know what? Here's the true meaning of this is to come in when it's not doing that, and everybody's skeptical. So then I feel like when you come from the ground up, but then when I do a one-on-one or something like that, everybody gonna get it because you know why? I'm real, and I feel like that's the thing in this space. We don't saw all the the money grabs and all these different things, and but now it's like, okay, who really love it? And I feel like that's where we at now when we in the bear market. It's almost like the pandemic. It's like, all right, who really love it? Like, you got sneakerheads. These people been doing their projects for, like, I love sneakerheads, and I love Parrot Balls. I love the Possess. I heard they just dropped something, and I like that, and they just sold out. But these people been doing it for 5 years, 6 years. Like, they planned this, and they're like, yo, you gotta drop. You know what I'm saying? And you see the success, and people, they really have a following. So it's like, for me, as a music person, I want to have the same type of following like I'm starting now. And I rather start when people are skeptical. I'm not trying to charge as much. And when it's at a shaky stage, that's when I come in the most and change the atmosphere of it and bring creators to. And really, I'm trying to be inspiration to all creators. Like, don't get discouraged. Don't not get discouraged. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know it's looking fickle, but this is like a .com. This is not a bubble. This is going to be around. Crypto, Coinbase is going to be up to $1 million in the next couple, like 4 or 5 through 2 years, maybe less than that. You just never know. The world is so different right now, and I'm just like, this is a way for me. A lot of people want to go on. When they put music out, they want to put it on DSPs and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I want to get to the point where I can drop one song and it's all a collective item that it's just that valuable to that one person, and we can have a conversation because that person loves it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a DSP where the royalties and all that type of stuff. I played that game. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong. That's how you make a lot of money. You can make it, but I just feel like it's too many. You bringing in too many. What's that saying? It's too many chiefs in the kitchen or
Cook,
something like
cook,
that.
Chefs in the kitchen.
cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the
Yeah,
kitchen, yeah.
yeah.
And we can't
Well,
have too
I
many.
think that's really interesting for you to say that, right? Because I think a lot of times you hear from like crypto native Web3 artists, right? That will be like, okay, like you can own your masters and I can be successful on my terms, right? And people, they have a smaller following because it's crypto isn't as mainstream as, say, like plugging into Spotify and getting 1 million plays on Spotify. But I think to hear a really successful producer and artist like yourself kind of say the same thing, right? To be like, yeah, like I played that game and, I had massive success on that, massive, on the consumer level. And now I want to do something that it's like a little more intimate, right? Where it's like, I think people always say this, where it's like, as an artist or as a creative, you only need like 1,000 true fans to like be able to sustain like your business, to at least get your foot started, right? And then at some point, hopefully enough people like your style, like your music, like whatever it is that you're making, and that number grows over time. But you don't need that number. You don't need like 1 million plays like right out of the gate. And I think it's really interesting to hear somebody that has had success in the classic model and is saying, no, like I like this model as well, because to your point, is like you get rid of a lot of the middlemen that otherwise would probably have you do something you wouldn't want to do as an artist.
Exactly. And it's like, eventually when you keep doing it, it's a lot of wells out there. So you could do a one-on-ones and really like, that comes later on in life. But, just think about that. A music person is do a one-on-one collector's item. All of them are collectives. But, I just feel like something about it is special. And like you said, 1,000 people, that's a lot. You set a price base. It's just, that's all you really need. And and then to me, you're your own boss. Like I tell Zade, it's like, guess what? We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to prepare for this. It's not me going to the marketing team at the label. this person. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. It's not none of that. It's just me and him. And I like that. You can't beat that. And, you know, when we dropped the video, we said, look, we're gonna break some barriers. People say, "Oh, you should don't do this, don't." Well, not really tell us not to do nothing. Just gave us suggestions, but we said, "No, we got to start somewhere. We got to break the mold somewhere." So, I'm just a person of just breaking the mold and really inspiring because I'm not saying I'm the best creator because I know in this space I'm gonna find way more better creators than I am. But guess what? Those people probably afraid to get up and start doing anything because in the Web3 space, I feel like because we in this space, how is the confidence level high? So that's why I bigged up Latasha and Spotty Wi-Fi because they jumped out the boat early. You know what I'm saying? They didn't wait for nobody. But imagine now they see me, that just give them more hope. And they're way ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to really bring hope. So then when I do drop, everybody's buying it. It's just no questions asked. You get what I'm saying? Oh, what? That's Timberland drop? Oh man, what that thing? Is worth this, is worth that. That's where I want to get to, and that's why I talk to all the great people in the web space, such as yourself, and really just educate. I'm really here to inspire the best creators because to me, I'm looking for the best creator. I don't feel like I'm the best creator. I'm just a person who's gonna jump out, just gonna do it first.
Right.
And
No, that makes total sense. And I guess, I think you are probably seen as this great ambassador now, right? Because again, you have so much presence and so much weight in the traditional music industry that like it's one thing, I love Latasha, I love Spotty Wi-Fi, and they were like the first people to be doing this, right? Like to really be jumping into it and being like, fuck it, like I'm gonna start my career in Web3 and I will build my career around Web3, and I love that. But I think it's one thing for like, let's say a music exec to hear them say it, and it's a totally other thing for them to hear you say it, right?
yeah, I think what it is. It's just like I never want to be late to the party. And there's some parties I've been late to. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that I play games. I'm not the best game. I was playing this game yesterday with a group of people. They kicked me out because my powers ain't up to their powers. But that's the what I'm saying. But I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like and I'm that's just me. I'm not the best at it, but I just love gaming and the storylines and stuff like that. So when Web3 it's just right up my alley. You know what I'm saying? It's a place where I could be free, the most free I ever been. Talking to Ryan, and Ryan said, "I don't know what's gonna come out of this, but this is the most fun I ever had doing music." And I said that to me that's worth more than any money in the world because we got into this to purify our soul, to be great, to escape reality of life, and as we got more successful that changed. You know what I'm saying? So I know what he was saying when he said that to me because this is more. You can be as free as you want to be, and it don't get it. This reminds me when I first started doing music.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's so great to hear because I think that gives a lot of artists a lot of hope of being able to control their own destiny and not necessarily having to sell themselves to into a deal that they don't want to be in, right? That's probably not in their best interest long term.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so I wanna switch gears for a second and kind of talk a little bit more about Congo and how that came about. So it's like you found Bored Apes and you were like, cool, like this is like my tribe. I like these. I like the artwork. I like the community that's forming around them. And then at what point, were you like, ah, fuck it, like I'm just going to let's just start creating IP around it and like start making music.
Um. For me, it's funny because great minds think alike, and I'm gonna get to when I say great minds think alike. I'm looking at this ape. If I and if you can look at my studio, I got apes. I got ape pillows and stuff like that's like just not a gimmick. So I'm like, well, okay, but what are we doing with this ape? Like what's going on? Like what we doing? And you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, can you do this? And everybody's not really giving me a definite answer. I'm like, man, do we own the IP? Can we do stuff? You know, and then I start asking about doodles. I got a doodle. So I'm like, well, you don't own, you only can do certain to a certain. I said, well, I don't know. That sounds like almost, I don't know. Right. So I said, well, the 8 just really gravitates, and it just worked in my favor because everything is your IP. You can do this and that. And I just started like, yo, I don't want, why is everybody a number? I said, that's like jail. I have a name. My name got to be Congo. Timbo Congo. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah. Sound, you know, me and Zay, because it's only me and Zay. I'm like, yeah. And I called. I was like, yo, Congo. And I just started getting hyped. And I just started listening to certain music. I said, he's going to be a dope producer than I was. And a better exec. Finding new NFTs to collaborate with. You know what I'm saying? Really doing it in the Web3 space, like the artists of the NFTs. And then when I said great minds think alike, Snoop called. And I saw Snoop, he heavy on it, him and his son. And it's like me and him is the one on the most heavy, you know, when it comes to this space, because it's just, you know, it's different for us. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you come from the music world, and it's like we come from, you know, Snoop can do a song, he not, it's not too much thought. It's like, you know what, let the first passion come out. You know what I'm saying? Versus the label, oh, you got to change this, change that, or change. No, 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 no. Let's give it the raw, authentic to the people. You know what I'm saying? And then I look at it like as we leave this earth, as we transcend to somewhere else, as we, you know, guess what? People in the Web3 space gonna have these special projects that the world doesn't have. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just like that's a gem in itself. You know, and I just felt like I gotta Timberlake presents Congo, and I feel like with Zayd, I told Zayd that, and Zayd, you know, we gotta get into world building, all these other things with it, and then, you know, we've been talking about shooting a song. I've been waiting. I doing a song with it. Congo produced the first song with APN with the group, and I'm like, okay, well, what else? He need to do something. And I had the song as a meaning, and I said, this fits Congo. And then I'm like, but we need to. I said, I don't want to just shoot a regular video like people spend all this money to get these effects. I said, but nobody's getting behind the suit and really actually doing it. So for me, it just brings out all my creative juices that I always wanted to do. You know, I always say, yo, I know Idris told me, Albert, he told me, yo, Tim, you should do movies. You should direct the movie. I guess this is my movie that I'm directing, which is Congo. Timberland presents Congo. So here he is. It's Congo. He don't really fool with me like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was letting you know. On his socials, you might see him beef with me. Because I'm the OG. He the new up and coming. He the one that know new talent. I don't know new talent, and he's showing you like the best talent in Web3. And so here we are.
Nice.
Congo,
That's awesome.
Congo
I
versus.
love it.
You might see Congo versus Timberland on Versus.
Oh, I mean, that'd be sick. I'd love to. What can you tell us about the name? Has a meaning. Is there a reason for the name of the title?
Has a meaning is like, you know, to me it's like what has a meaning in life. You know what I'm saying? We don't want it if it doesn't have a meaning. And Web3 to me has a big significant meaning to where I'm going. So I'm just telling like the world, like to come with Congo and to come on his world, you got to bring something to the table. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a party song, but it's a song that have a message in the hook. Like, yo, I hear you, I hear you talking, but I don't want it if it doesn't have a meaning. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at in the Web3 space. You got all these people doing scams and stuff like that, and we like, nah, we ain't for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like the slogan for really for the Web3, the whole Web3, because you know we seeing all crazy stuff going on right now. And guess what? You don't want that shit unless it got a meaning. What do it mean to you? What did it mean to G Money? Is G Money gonna appreciate it? Is Zay gonna appreciate it? No, we don't want that. It ain't got no meaning to it. It just you just selling me false advertising. No, I don't want that.
Right. And how do you how do you see his music and his message evolve over time? Do you see it staying constant, or you going? How do you see it evolving?
I mean, he's gonna give you the same thing, like the nostalgic that you might have heard from Timberland. You know what I'm saying? Like just raw, different things is like shocking you. He gonna collaborate with new people that's up and coming and Web3 artists that you be like, then why he doing with that people? They community ain't, you know what I'm saying? We gonna
Right.
start that whole talk in the web space, like, why you fucking with them? Why can't go? Then you gonna go to that community like, maybe I need to get one of these NFT. That's never been done. It's like it's the same thing in the music world. You know what I'm saying? When we like, oh, if Dr. Dre put Eminem, when he put Eminem, we like, damn, he is dope. Dr. Dre said he's
Right.
dope. You get what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
it's just like we all know what's hot, the crypto punk. They're like, nah, they cool, but they don't move like us. I'm just making up anything.
Yeah.
Desire,
Yeah.
Desire. Desire,
Yeah.
Desire is probably not even known, right? And you be like, you shouldn't fuck with it because that could be a scam and this and that. And it's like, then I do a song with Desire, Desire. Then you like, wait a minute, we need to rethink this. Then you start going to the people who really owns ours, or your SG money. You'll be like, so what is your utility? What is your plan for the future? What's your roadmap? But guess what? You would have never asked that if you never saw the video or Congo introduce Zara Zara. You get what I'm saying? So it's like he's going to do a lot of that. He's going to do what hits him, what feels him. Some things is not going to be, people are not going to agree with some of the decisions. Like, damn, why he fucking with them? Why he messing with that? It's like, because it's a chemistry. And I just want people to understand, like, sometimes what I'm building is Fat Albert in the game. I'm building NFT in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's Congo in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody ain't gonna be quote unquote value at what 10 ETH or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Now I just raised up that community's value because Congo. It's like when you look at Double XL, the freshman class, it'll be Congo's freshman class. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Of the Web3 space.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great segue to ask, because recently in a Twitter Spaces you said, I don't need to find stars anymore. I can make them. And obviously you were a legend at finding talent. What elements did you take from those stars to create Congo?
Really just I never took no element. I think I'm starting fresh. I got a new perspective. I'm kind of showing another side of Timberland and just growing from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, now we can do this and it's popular. I'm just really just stepping out there first. You know what I'm saying? Just doing, my mind. It's like I had a reset button that hit me when I created Congo, and the reset button is like a whole new path of new ideas, ideas that I couldn't complete in my musical journey, or that it's a continuation. And I think somebody said something on Natasha said it. She said, and she felt it in my voice. She said, I could tell that you have a new excitement. You have found a new passion, a new joy when it comes to music. Because I done hits with everybody. Done a hit with Drake. Everybody besides Kendrick. From certain people, but for the most part, I don't work with everybody
Mhm.
and done a hit on everybody. So now I can create a star. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and it's just a new passion to try to start over in a different way.
Right. No, that sounds awesome. Yeah. No. And so Zayd, I want to ask you a question. What was it like to collab with Timbaland on the creation of Congo?
To be honest with you, it was something that was stressful, but it was good stressful because I had to really. With Tim, you can't explain a lot. You have to just show them. And so for me,
Mhm.
I had seen the creation of Congo and the end, just the birth of Congo, just when it was, just when it was just a name, before he had an image, before we had all these things to help to tell the story. And I have to figure out shorthand explain with technology what technology can do today. You know what I mean? And that is it's pretty amazing because now it got to a point where I had to just go to Tim and be like, Tim, there was about maybe a 3 day time period where I just didn't sleep. I was like, we were trying to figure out how we can get the assets made to help tell the story. Did not sleep. I started like 6 p.m. all night to the next day, slept for maybe 4 hours, next day, come up with this rudimentary, thing for Congo. And I go and show Tim hits me up one day and is like, hey, do you have this other thing he was expecting me to have for him? Because we were working on another project. And I was like, no, but I have this. And I sent him a looping video of Congo playing piano. Nobody's even seen that one yet. And like, man, he was like blown away. And he's like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? So I say, short answer, it's pretty, it's exhilarating when somebody like Timbaland can get excited over something, when you can present something to them that gets them excited. So I mean, short answer is it's bucket list type things. It's incredible.
Nice. No, that's incredible to hear. I think, yeah, I think I notice it myself when, sometimes I'm on a call with somebody who's like a living legend, and like I pitch them something of that, what I'm thinking on, what I'm working on, and then like I see their eyes perk up and like, whoa, like I didn't even realize you could do that. Like that's really fucking dope. Like, like let's talk. Like how does that look like as a collab? So I think like I think the audience sees it. I definitely see it too. Like just you have somebody that when you're so successful at some point you become jaded, right? Like you're just used to it. It's like, oh yeah, like of course I've made hit records with so many of the world's best musicians, but now it's like something new, right? And you're challenging yourself in a new and interesting way that like you haven't done in a really long time. So I think it's like amazing when I see like legends come into the space that are like, yeah, like I'm really, really excited about this. And I think like, you know, I can be a trailblazer and help open up the world to like this new way of thinking. So I'm always excited, and I always have loving these conversations. And I offer up my time and thoughts if you guys ever want anything and you want to bounce ideas off stuff, because I live for this shit. So I
Of course, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what Zay do. He call. I might say an idea. He'll call you and say, "Yo, G, what you think about this? How should we drop this?" Oh, you'll get a lot of that. Trust me. Because we open. We open like that. We all one. That's why I got on that space and say that. And thank you for everybody who participated and minute their video. It's only a few left. Um, I just appreciate everybody just for believing in me and trusting me, and know that I'm gonna keep bringing you high quality shit. Trust me. I just want to push. I just want to push the envelope and get other people to be like, "Yo, how Timberland doing this shit so fast? How he doing this?" And it's like, okay, because we don't need to do. I know we take a lot of time, and I understand. Like, I think the longest thing, and I think Zayd, we working it out right now. That would take time is building a roadmap for the game. For the gamification, and and just really just figuring it out. But
Giving away all the
I get
sauce,
we.
Tim.
You know
so
what
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
so I'm about to ask. So you guys are creating a game, or you're going to gamify the ecosystem?
We're having fun. We're having
Okay.
fun. I'm making Tim. We're getting Tim to create a new character, and we're just having fun with it. And so realistically, like, undersell, over deliver is a mantra of mine, mantra of Tim and mine. And realistically, like, the coolest thing about this project is that at very first glance, just surface level, before we get into the details, it's a collector's thing. It's the first time Timbaland is entering the metaverse and creating editions of whatever instance that he's doing. Like, that is something that's never really happened before, and he's doing it via mocap and using animation. Like, you've never seen that before. So like, that
Right.
part alone is enough to digest, and then the rest of it is like, what, we're about to go on a journey, because like right now we live in a time where the gap between the creators and the execution of the creation is really small. So like, when Tim has an idea, we can create it within the week, and it's like, what, that kind of feedback loop is like, you can't really beat that kind of stuff, and it's only going to keep happening with everybody. So it's like, try not, there's some stuff there. And if you've been watching the stream that we do, and and watching these videos and just how we've been leveraging the technology, there's definitely going to be some, how can I put it, just stuff for people to be more immersed in.
Okay, cool. Will we see any physical items like merch or like in real life art? in the future?
But you know what? You know what? It's so funny. I I was talking to this guy that does holograms, and he was showing me these NFTs. It's pretty unique. So I'm sure that'll come. But I think before that come, I'd rather have conversations with yourself, with other people, and just really pick brains and really build something big. You know what I'm saying? We can't. It's just me and Zayd. So I think anything is possible. I don't think nothing's out. I think the sky's not the limit. It's just a view.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's super exciting. I mean, I know I saw you guys scattered some Easter eggs throughout the video, specifically the other side parcel at the end. I don't wanna ask you to talk about stuff you're not ready to talk about, but is there something you can share regarding that?
I'll let Zayd talk about that.
So there's something in the air with the apes, and everybody is creating. Obviously the Board Ape Yacht Club is creating something bigger for the ape community, and really being in that space, we're just trying to nod our hat to it. And also, while we're also telling the story of Congo, because I think it's going to get to a point where if we create this right, this could be Congo could be his own like spinoff. But like, what about canon? Like, is there canon in the Board Ape Yacht Club universe? I feel like they're still writing in pencil. So I feel like right now we can
Mhm.
put things out there and be like, you know what? Why you guys are still writing in pencil? Why don't you go ahead and pencil this in? Because this part is Congo's edition, or this is, and it's just to inspire people. It's like, this IP, has given everybody the ability to be their own Netflix spinoff within this universe, and add it with other meta communities. So like, the other side land at the end was really just a nod for what goes on. That's Congo's land in other side. And so we made a 3D version of it, and it's really just, and we kind of transitioned into it to say like, hey, this is what happens on this land. Like we zoomed out from there. Like, hey, that when you go through this land, like there's crazy productions happening. We're doing music videos, we're doing all kinds of things. And so we're really just that caught some cool attention at Ape Fest. A lot of people really love the other side. I'm happy that you picked it up.
Right. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'd be really cool. I'm a big fan of Easter eggs and kind of like leaving clues along the way so that like, the biggest fans kind of can pick and notice like the little things like to what you said, right? Is like people that have been listening to your show for the last few weeks probably have a better understanding of what's coming than those who are listening casually, right? So I think that that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. What like as I use my avatar to stay anonymous. What are your thoughts on using avatars as your digital identity, and what do you think that means for fame going forward?
I think you're gonna. I don't know. I think it's something that's gonna be different. I think we're gonna see a lot of shows like this. I think it's the first, like you're doing the first of its kind. So when you're the first of its kind, you'll see other people doing it. So I believe once people know, you can talk all day. Like I tell Zay, we could talk about an idea, but we're actually seeing it right here.
Mhm.
And I think the more people who see it, the more it grows. That's just anything in life.
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying, everybody, I think people are going to start using they NFT as they face. You know,
Were, were you asking because of anonymity? Like, do you think people are trying to, were you talking about like people assuming avatars to avoid being public?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I think like, and probably Timberland can speak better to this than both of us, right? Where it's like, you walk into a room, Timberland, and people know who you are, right? And like in the NFT space, like people know who G Money is, but they don't know what I look like in real life. And so it's I find it really interesting sometimes, sometimes I tell people who I am, sometimes I don't,
well,
right?
I know
So it's
what you're
something that
doing.
I can, yeah. So it's
You
something
playing
I can
role.
turn on and off. Yeah, like I can turn it on and off when I want, but you can't, right? Because people know who you are, and like you're on all the time. So I just think that that's like really interesting, like for the future of like fame, right? It's like, oh, like when I'm on and I'm G Money, people are like, oh, you're G Money, like I love what you're doing. But then I could just be some random dude that walks into a room and people are like, they don't even look at me, right? So I think it's very interesting to see how that plays out over time.
Oh, You know what's so crazy, G Money? Like you know, a lot of stuff been written already in the world. What you're doing is nothing new. It's in a series in Black Mirrors. Like Where's Waldo? It's
Ooh,
the same thing. He was a
And you
guy
gotta also think
behind a
about like
band.
Daft Punk, the Gorillas. Like it's
Yeah,
new,
yeah,
like
but
like you never knew the Blue Man Group. I still don't know who they are.
right. Yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying?
it's
So,
yeah, it's
so
interesting.
everything has been done, but I think this, you know, this I think now it's going to just pick up even more. You know, a lot of people
Right,
want to be, you know, like you know, like a lot of these movies that we watch on TV. Like I know I'm a big movie person, and like this is going to be the new thing. Like you know, people are going to be talking like, "Yo, G Money, he be talking all the great stuff," but then you go in the room like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then G Money takes on a life of its own. Then you got people picking, and you know, you got to be careful like what we wish for, because then it can go left, it can go right. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like, you know, your character can be so popular that you got to put on. You always got to find a. You got to keep them hot, and it's like,
right,
damn. They'd be like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" Then you'd be like, and then he could be your best friend. And he'd be like, "Why are you so stressed, man?" Like, and he'd be like, "Oh, you're G Money. I never knew." You know what I'm saying? He's like,
right,
"Yeah." Then it becomes then it you know, a star is born. And but it's not. You can still go to the store, but you can't go to the store because guess what? You got to keep working on G Money. You know what I'm
right,
saying? It's like you still doing the work, the identity, but you don't. You can still go to the store and be who you are, but you're still putting in a lot of work to maintain your character. You know, so it's
right,
like, but I'd rather do that versus somebody always coming up to me.
right. Yeah, no,
So
I mean, I totally get it because I even, especially like sometimes like I could just be doing something and somebody, yeah, it's funny because that comes up to you, like they're obviously a fan, but sometimes you're not always on, right? Like sometimes you're like, yo, dude, I'm just trying to eat a sandwich, bro. Like, like, and I get it. Like you're happy to meet me, but
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I could see how, it can get
You know,
tiresome pretty quickly.
yeah. You know, because we human too. You know what I'm saying? We got
Yeah,
our own, like, you know, we talk about mental health and all these things, but guess what? It's real.
right,
So we have our days. And it's just one of them things. But when you behind the scenes, you can deal with your days a little better.
right. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, and so before I let you guys go, just one last question, on what can you explain the industry and executives' reactions to incorporating Web3 into your music? What's that been like so far?
I don't know. I don't even talk to those people.
Oh, really?
I'm just being,
Okay.
nah. I just do me. And you
Okay.
know, I always did that when I came out with a new sound with me and Missy. I never really like go to the execs, and I just really don't involve though. You know, that side of it, because you got to get something going, then we can have that conversation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I like to get it going. Like, hey man, what's this thing Tim doing? You know, like you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to bring too many cooks in the kitchen. You
Right.
want to like,
Have they have they started reaching out yet?
no, I'm cool, man.
No? Oh, nice. I love it.
I'm incognito. I don't. That's why I don't put a massive 10,000 and stuff like that. Like I keep mine very boutique, unique, art based, and it's really about the craft. And you know, they'll hear about it when I drop my one on ones and stuff like that. That's when they'll be like, "What the hell is he doing?" And then you know, what I'm saying,
Right.
because it'll be targeted to the whales. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's when I think they'll come in and play, and then they'll start seeing. I think they'll come into play once they see all the content we constantly dropping,
Right.
and they'll be like, "Oh shit, we need to do this." You know, everybody be late to the party. You know how that goes.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sometimes you don't want to invite until you got a grasp on your party. You don't need to invite nobody who's a party goer to your party that you just
Right.
starting. Because if they're a party goer, they're gonna crash your party, and you
Right.
be like,
Yeah,
"Damn."
no,
This supposed to have been my party. You know, I said, no, I see it. I'm taking over. Come to my party.
Right. I love it. All right, cool. So for people that want to find out more about the project and everything you guys are working on, what's the best place for them to check out for more information?
Twitter.com/Timbaland is the main place.
Okay. All right, cool. Perfect. And before I let you guys go, what are your favorite NFTs? Your favorite one?
Ooh,
I don't know if I
man.
have a favorite. It's a couple
Favorite
ones that's coming out.
NFTs at all? I got some I'm watching right now. Like, just like I'm
Who you
interested
Ooh.
to
watching?
see what they're doing. Huh?
Who you watching?
I'm watching, man, there's two. Okay, so Akutars, of course. Like anything Aku Dreams, like that dude is dope.
Yeah.
The gentleman named Micah. Really big fan of that
Micah's great.
story. And yeah. I can't I hope to meet him one day. You know who dropped something the other day I thought it was really interesting was BB3. Like they're kind of doing this like fashion NFT like thing, and I'm kind of looking at it like I wonder what they're doing. So I'm looking at both those things, but that project
Did you
wasn't
mint
really for
one?
sale. It was,
Could you mint? Or
huh?
did they go up? Is it
So
a
what
mint?
happened was it was in Complex Land, and you had to go in there, go to this billboard in this virtual world within a certain time period, claim it, and you get a badge, and then it's like you're waiting for more. But it's like they're starting this new journey, and it was just like a entry level thing. It was very
Is that
curious.
too
I loved
complex? Is that too much?
it.
Like
Was
that's a
no no no
lot.
no 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 no. It well, you see, but you got to think like it's made for like Web3 guys. So it's like, hey, for the nerds out there, we put a billboard that has a
Well, I'm a
collectible
nerd, but I don't
thing.
want to do that much. Everybody want to get
Well,
some.
that's what you got me
You know,
for.
I know, but like even us nerds, we want to do stuff simplified. Like we don't want to. I don't want to
Well,
go.
that's
I don't know.
why
Me personally,
They're on
like
my
that's why you
radar,
got
Ray. Not on,
I'd rather make it easy for me to get, and then make it a little complicated after that. Like, hey,
right.
that's not all you got. Guess
right.
what? You go over here, you add value. You get what I'm saying? It's like when you get Fortnite,
Right.
when you buy skins, like you already got your character, but then you got to go over
Right.
there to upgrade your shit. That's why I'm playing Outrider the way I'm playing it, because it's like I already got my character, but I'm like, hey man, my level ain't high. So I gotta go over here.
Right.
I gotta do all this shit or play with people, and they're gonna get mad because my level ain't high. Kick me out the group. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, damn man, give me a shot. You know what I'm saying? That's to me is a better roadmap for you know what I'm saying? Because like there are nerds that like there are some nerds who just like me who just really like, okay, how do I get it, and then give me the roadmap after. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know? We just having a
Okay.
regular.
I
We
mean, I
having a
love it.
regular right now. Right now, this is
Yeah.
not an interview. This is a Web3 conversation.
Yeah, no, I listen, I love it, right? Because I think like the beauty of it, right? There's no right or wrong answer, right? Because it's like, I agree with both of you, right? It's like sometimes it's like you give some, like for instance, like my NFT drop, the only way you could have gotten it is if like I didn't sell it, right? It was if you met me in person and you got an NFT in person and then you minted it, right? And then it's kind of like just a different way of gamifying it without necessarily having to sell something per
Okay.
se, right? So I think we're going to see a
Uh,
lot of cool, innovative business models because of it.
that's my
So
Yo,
point. That's what I'm saying.
that's what
yeah,
I'm gonna call you about first, G
And that
Money. We're gonna talk.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, dude. My line's always open, especially for you guys. Oh, but Tim, you didn't hit us with your favorite NFT. We got Zayd.
my favorite, I think, is not even out because I'm an art person, and
Okay.
I don't know what. And this is, and Zay, you can vouch for this. Roy, I like what Roy's about to do. Roy Woods, when we was at 8 Fest, Zay. You know Roy, right? So Roy is a famous artist. He painted all the Rihanna covers. Like his
Mhm.
art, his art is like $1 million, like to buy on the wall, like 2, 3, 4 million
Right.
dollars. He created his NFT project, same as like his art, but it's different. It's so ill, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what it is. And he created a whole museum in New York. Like they brought out the Century 21, and they created this whole Avatar world that's insane. So I'm like, I don't know the roadmap to it, but I think this is gonna be amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I think if I say that could be one of my favorites, but right now I think my favorite that I like, that I think that draws to me, I think I really like Sneakerhead because
Okay. Cool.
it's sneakers,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like Sneakerhead is like he took like, no, I'm gonna make a sneakerhead. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like You know what I'm saying? I thought that was like genius. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just like unique. You
Right.
know, because I am sneaker, and I think to put the face to like the shoe screens and stuff, like the artist in that very detailed, and
Right.
I thought that just like amazing. I thought that was you know, it's the simple things in life. Sneakerhead, like if I tell you, oh, G-Man, we're gonna do sneakerhead. So you probably say, "Oh, we're gonna do some sneakers. We're gonna draw some." No, I'm gonna take your head. We're gonna make it a sneaker. That's you know what I'm saying. It's really like the things we think about every day. You know, what I mean?
Right.
But it just reconstructing them in a different way.
Right. Yeah, no, I love it. I'm gonna check them out. I follow I know a lot of people post sneakerhead stuff on my Twitter feed, but I'm gonna look into it more
I,
closely. But
yeah, I got two rare ones. I think it's cool. I think those are cool. I like the possess. You heard about the possess?
I feel like I have, but I haven't had a chance to look into it yet.
They cool. They just sold out. They just did a
Okay.
drop. They sold out.
Ooh.
I'm looking into their roadmap. It seems pretty cool. I just don't like you know the thing about it, I like good art too. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a
Right.
good project, like it still gotta be a good art to it too. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I don't like the little square, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
love all that stuff, but sometimes I'm like, yo, make that shit make me feel good. Like just having a JPEG and just some squares, like sometimes that don't do it for me. But the roadmap is amazing, right? So
Right.
it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But I want it all in one. You know what I'm saying? I want the character to look, I want some detail in it. I want, you know, and then the
Right.
roadmap clear. But you know, so that's why I said sneakerhead because the art.
I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to everything that you guys are doing and Congo is doing in the space and hopefully we can jam more on it and we'll talk soon. But yeah, thanks for tuning in and everybody thanks for listening.